The MGM-140 ATACMS defined American deep strike artillery for decades. Fired from the M142 HIMARS and M270 MLRS, it delivers a 230-kilogram warhead out to 300 kilometers using inertial and GPS guidance. However, its 610-millimeter diameter forces each HIMARS pod to carry only a single missile, constraining magazine depth. ATACMS is now being phased out in favor of the Precision Strike Missile Increment 1, which achieved Milestone C approval on 2 July 2025 and officially entered the production and deployment phase. That Milestone C decision enabled a massive IDIQ contract framework with a ceiling value of $4.94 billion, awarded to Lockheed Martin on 28 March 2025. The first delivery order under that contract procures 400 PrSM Increment 1 missiles. Increment 1 extends range to an officially stated beyond 400 kilometers. Analysts estimate practical reach approaches 500 kilometers and shrinks the diameter to 430 millimeters, allowing 2 missiles per HIMARS pod and 4 per M270A2. Increment 1 saw its first combat employment during Operation Epic Fury in February 2026. China's closest counterpart in the tactical land-based segment is the SY-400, a modular guided rocket system developed by CASIC. Mounted on an 8x8 Wanshan TEL, the export-designated SY-400 carries 8 400mm guided rockets, each delivering a 200 to 300 kilogram warhead to ranges between 150 and 400 kilometers at speeds up to Mach 5. With GPS-INS guidance achieving a CEP below 30 meters, it provides precision comparable to ATACMS, but with significantly greater magazine depth per launcher. The same TEL can swap the SY-400 canisters for the larger BP-12A short-range ballistic missile, which carries a 480-kilogram warhead to approximately 280 kilometers. Multiple export catalogs and Chinese state media confirm the 480-kilogram warhead figure, noting that it fits just under the Missile Technology Control Regime's 300-kilometer, 500-kilogram export limit. This dual missile system allows operators to mix saturation fire from the SY-400 with the heavier punch of the BP-12A, a flexibility neither ATACMS nor Increment 1 can match in magazine capacity. In this baseline matchup, China holds clear advantages in per-launcher round count and raw warhead weight, while the United States counters with more advanced network integration, superior system accuracy, and the operational flexibility of a HIMARS that can carry 2 Increment 1 missiles. Both sides, however, are limited to engaging static land targets with these Increment 1 and baseline systems. The introduction of PrSM Increment 2 fundamentally rewrites the land-based anti-surface warfare playbook. On 12 March 2026, Lockheed Martin successfully conducted the first flight test of an Increment 2 round launched from a HIMARS, covering a distance of 350 kilometers. The defining feature is a new multi-mode seeker that fuses radio frequency and imaging infrared data, enabling the missile to autonomously acquire, track, and engage moving maritime and land targets. This transforms what was previously a pure artillery rocket into a genuine land-based anti-ship missile. Lockheed Martin's release confirms the program is currently undergoing preliminary design review, with additional flight tests scheduled for later in 2026. Industry reports project initial operational capability around fiscal year 2028. China's direct land-based equivalent for the anti-ship mission is the CM-401. Revealed at Zhuhai Airshow 2018, the CM-401 is a solid-fuel anti-ship ballistic missile that averages Mach 4 during cruise and reaches Mach 6 in its terminal dive. It can be fired from land-based TELs or shipboard vertical launch systems, carrying a 290-kilogram warhead. Export variant range is capped at 290 kilometers under MTCR rules. However, multiple Chinese state-linked and Western sources note that the People's Liberation Army has domestic variants or closely related systems with significantly greater range. One U.S. domain analysis specifically cited a 1,000-kilometer domestic variant of the CM-401 technology family. Those claims remain difficult to independently verify, but they closely align with the long-observed pattern of China exporting MTCR-compliant versions while fielding longer-ranged models for the PLA. Beyond the CM-401, China deploys the heavier DF-21D medium-range anti-ship ballistic missile. The DF-21D is a two-stage solid-fuel missile with an estimated range of approximately 1,770 kilometers, with Pentagon assessments placing it over 1,500 kilometers and some open-source estimates reaching 2,000 kilometers. Its maneuverable re-entry vehicle descends at speeds exceeding Mach 10, making it a formidable carrier killer. Unofficial but widely cited estimates place the unit cost of a DF-21D between $5 million and $10.5 million per missile, with some analyses choosing $10 million as a working figure. There is no official PLA cost data, but these estimates are consistent across platforms, such as a 2015 RAND study-derived blog, defense forums, and Chinese media citing figures of approximately 140 million yuan for the DF-21D, well within the same financial magnitude. China also fields the longer-range DF-26, an intermediate-range ballistic missile capable of reaching 2,500 kilometers or more, with a single round cost of roughly 35 million yuan, approximately $5 to $7 million, as reported by Chinese state-affiliated outlets. PrSM Increment 2 offers a combination that no single Chinese land-based system in its weight class currently matches. Its multi-mode seeker gives it a true all-weather autonomous engagement capability against moving warships, a feat that the CM-401 can achieve at shorter distances, but that the heavier DF-21D does with far less sensor fusion and a much larger, less mobile TEL. A HIMARS carrying two Increment 2 missiles can fire, displace rapidly, and survive in a way that a 10x10 DF-21D TEL cannot. This enables the distributed lethality concept the U.S. Marine Corps and Army plan to employ across the Pacific Island chains. This technical leap comes with a commensurate price tag. While no official unit cost for Increment 2 has been released, analysts project that the sophisticated multi-mode seeker will drive the per-round cost to an estimated $3 million to $3.5 million, roughly double that of the Increment 1 missile, which itself is estimated at approximately $1.6 million per unit, compared to around $1 million for the legacy ATACMS. The cost disparity widens when viewed against Chinese systems. The SY-400 guided rocket and even the BP-12A short-range ballistic missile are export-priced to be affordable for developing nations, meaning China can field a far greater number of precision strike munitions for the same procurement budget. A DF-21D at the upper estimate of $10.5 million is still 3 times the cost of a projected Increment 2, but it is a strategic class weapon. The CM-401 and scaled-up SY-400/BP-12A munitions offer China a deep and relatively affordable magazine for high-volume fires. This cost-mass imbalance is not hypothetical. Following Operation Epic Fury, the Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS, released an analysis showing that the United States expended at least 45% of its PrSM stockpile during the Iran campaign. The report's authors warned that restoring depleted stockpiles and then achieving the desired inventory levels will take many years, with media coverage later translating that into a Pentagon-cited figure of up to 5 years for restocking critical munitions. The PrSM Increment 2's technological sophistication gives the U.S. a qualitative edge in the anti-ship mission, but the CSIS data highlights that this edge cannot be sustained in a protracted conflict unless production rates and inventory depth are dramatically increased. High technology, as the Gulf of Oman post-2025 has proven, becomes a strategic vulnerability if it cannot be produced and replaced at the tempo of modern war. The competitive landscape defined by ATACMS, PrSM, SY-400, BP-12A, CM-401, and DF-21D reveals two diverging philosophies. The United States is betting on a small number of exceptionally capable seeker-equipped missiles that can kill moving targets from tactically useful ranges from highly survivable launchers. China is betting on a layered architecture of affordable, mass-producible missiles, from 8-round SY-400 saturation rockets to the carrier-killing DF-21 and DF-26, that can absorb high expenditure rates and still deliver overwhelming volume. Increment 2 closes a critical U.S. capability gap, but it does so at a per-round cost that forces hard choices about inventory depth. The nation that best reconciles technological sophistication with industrial capacity will dictate the terms of land-based maritime strike in the decade ahead.